Welcome back to Self Love Ignited. I want to talk to you guys about burnout. Burnout. It is something that I would say many, if not most of us have gone through in some way, but it's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So let's talk about it.
My name is Katie Allen, and this is Self Love Ignited. Let's get to it.
Burnout. Okay, let's do this. I want to talk to you about burnout and about how you can have self-compassion while this is happening. So, first off, what is burnout? This is just my own definition, by the way. Burnout is when you just feel exhausted all the time, and the things that used to feel easy do not feel easy anymore. I am creating this episode while I am in a self identified period of burnout in my business. So, what I am talking to you about today is something that I am actively going through, actively taking on board, and practicing in my life. I'm sure is going to keep evolving and changing as things do. But so many people suffer burnout in some way. Now, for some people who have businesses, it's like business related, it might be career related, finance related. I think a lot of parents have burnout around kids. It's a bit of a different conversation, but burnout happens. We get exhausted when you give and 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 you don't get anything back. It's kind of inevitable. And unfortunately, there is this perception that we should just be able to push through it. But pushing through it is what gets you there in the first place. Ignoring the signs that you're exhausted, ignoring the signs that you need to rest or take a step back is how you end up in this place of exhaustion. And if you just keep pushing, it's just like this cycle that keeps repeating itself, right? You're always burnt out and you're always pushing, and then you feel like you should keep pushing, but that is not a very compassionate thing to do. So I want to invite you, if you are in burnout, if you think you might be in burnout, if you've ever done this before and you can sort of see that it's a pattern that you've been through, I want to invite you to do things a little bit differently. Like I said, this is exactly what I am doing. So to give you some backstory, I recognized that I was in burnout probably about 6 to 8 months ago. Now, I've shared in other episodes. I'm not going to get into the whole story today, but this last couple of years of my life has been very tumultuous. I've had quite a bit of loss of a home, loss of a long-term partner, like just a lot of loss, a lot of movement, a lot of insecurity. So last year, I recognized that I was in burnout. I was grieving. I was in this place of being completely and utterly depleted. And at that time, I chose to intentionally ease off a little bit. This was specifically in my business because as a coach, as someone who talks about self-love and self-acceptance and self-compassion, it does sometimes, not always, but it does sometimes take a lot of energy for me to hold space for other people. That's just how it, and that's how it is, right? And normally it doesn't take any energy for me, hardly. Normally it actually energizes me. But because I was so depleted and I was deep in grief, I didn't have anything left to give. And I could just tell that it was taking even more. So last year I intentionally eased off just a little bit in my business activities to give myself a bit of breathing room. Now, fast forward to about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I have moved into a new place. I have a lot of security, a lot of the things that I've been lacking the last couple of years. I'm starting to get back. And here's me. I thought, oh, I'm through it. I'm through the burnout. Now I can start doing, lots more things again. These things that maybe I haven't been doing, I can start doing them again. And it's great. And I started. And then it was like I hit a wall. And it's because, yes, I had eased off last year, but I was still pushing. There was still this energy of like, I have to do it. And I recognize part of this is my personality as well. I'm really stubborn. I'm an Aries. I'm really stubborn. And when I decide I'm going to do something, I do it. And sometimes that means pushing and not listening to myself. So a few weeks ago, what I realized is that I was still in burnout. And in fact, now that other areas of my life had sort of settled and relaxed, and I was able to sort of like exhale and take a load off, I actually felt the burnout a lot more. Like a lot of my coping mechanisms had sort of faded away. And now I was sort of like confronted with it, I guess is the right word. So I, again, looked at my life, looked at what was burning me out, what was exhausting me, and again, intentionally stepped back. Now, I want to say I could have judged myself for this. And yes, I am human. There was totally a moment of like, ugh, why can't you just get over this already? It happens to the best of us. It happens to everybody, right? It's a normal thing. It's not whether or not you have the thought, it's what you do with the thought. And when I recognized that I had the thought, I went, oh, hold on. And part of this was myself. Part of this was that I work with a coach as well who held space for me to explore this. And I went, Katie, you have had one hell of a year. Then you are just finding your feet in a lot of ways in my personal life. You are just finding your feet and you are feeling really settled. And you know what? If you need some time, that's okay. And if you need some space, that's okay. And I had this conversation with myself just a few weeks ago. I had this conversation and I asked, what do I need? And the answer was, do less. And I did a little bit less. And then I started doing more again because it's my nature. And then I asked again, what do you need? And it was do less and fill your cup. Okay. Do less. Fill my cup. How do I fill my cup? What does that look like for me? What does that feel like for me? So I have been on a journey of figuring that out. In fact, I have, if you're watching the video, I can show you. I literally have a checklist from my mentor, from my coach, where all these things that fill my cup and things that I can do every day, like a menu to mix and match, these things that are going to start replenishing me instead of depleting me. And as I'm working through this burnout, what I realized is that I'm starting to not be so exhausted. I'm starting to feel the effects of taking it easy, of taking care of myself. I'm not as tired. I'm not as cranky. I'm feeling more excited about things again, about some of the things that were really exhausting to me. They're starting to feel really exciting again. I have hope. I'm having visions for what's going to come. Like there's so much good stuff happening. Yet, just yesterday, and I'm recording this on the day it's being released, so this is live. Just yesterday, part of me went, "Oh, you're ready. You're ready to get back in. You're ready to do this again." And I went to do this one thing that I had sort of eased off doing. This one thing, and about 10 seconds in, my entire body went no. My entire body said no. I felt all of my energy shift. I felt my body shift, and it was just a full body, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And in that moment, I had a choice. I had a choice of going, too bad, you've had long enough. It's time to suck it up and deal with it. Or I had a choice of going, okay, I hear you. We'll give you more space. And that's exactly what I did. It's exactly what I did. So if you're going through burnout as well, I shared the story with you because I know that it's not that unique. Like I said at the beginning, we all go through this in our own way. And I really want to invite you to first of all, be really aware, right? Sometimes we're not even aware that we're in burnout. So there does need to be sort of a level of self-awareness when you notice the exhaustion, when you notice it feels like you're pushing, like you're swimming upstream, like everything that used to feel easy or everything that used to excite you feels really, really hard. Notice it. And then find compassion for yourself. Be easy, ease off, find compassion. And one of the easiest ways to start this is to approach yourself with curiosity. You've probably heard me talk about curiosity before. Curiosity is the opposite of judgment. I talk about it so much because it is pivotal on this road to self-love, self-kindness, self-compassion. Curiosity is pivotal. Curiosity means asking questions. It means having an open mind. It means being willing to look at things through a different lens than maybe you normally do. So when it's, I'm really exhausted, you could choose to push through, judge yourself. What's wrong with you? Get your act together. Just go do it. Don't be lazy, right? That's judgmental. It's labeling, saying it's wrong. Whereas curiosity is going, oh, I wonder why this feels so hard. Ask a question. I wonder how it could feel easier. Ask a question. What else do you need? Ask a question, right? Curiosity, being open. If you can approach your burnout through the lens of curiosity, it is going to change everything. It's going to change everything. If you literally just do that one thing, you ask yourself questions instead of shoving sentences and judgments down your throat, it is going to make a difference. And I can tell you, because I'm still in it, I don't know what the end looks like for me. And I don't know what the end looks like for you. But I know that if you keep walking the journey of burnout through self-awareness, through taking it easy, treating yourself with kindness, being compassionate, and being curious and asking questions and checking in along the way, that is the journey to healing. And, fill your cup. Dude, make a list. Make a list like I've made and do something every single day that lights you up. Do something every single day that, even if it's a tiny bit, fills your cup. And these do not have to be big things. Some of the things on my list include have a smoothie, because I love smoothies. Pull an oracle card. Love pulling cards for myself, and I don't do it as often as I would like. Read a book, right? Sit down for 5 minutes and read a book. Dancing, hiking, sitting on my front porch and just enjoying life. These things do not have to be complicated. In fact, less complicated is best. You are burnt out because you have been doing too much and pushing too hard. So the last thing you need is to be doing too much and pushing too hard. So we want to ease back, take a step back, and do these things, tiny things, 1 minute things, 2 minute things, a couple times a day that fill your cup. Treat yourself with kindness. Be curious. And I really want to invite you, if you are struggling with finding self-compassion, whether it's through burnout or whether it's for something else, if you're struggling with finding self-compassion, just remember to ask questions. Remember to ask questions, because asking those questions is a game changer. Asking questions is actually one of the core traits of coaching, right? A good coach asks questions. A good counselor asks questions, because when you ask a question, it creates a void, it creates a space that can be filled. When we ask a question and then we step back, it's giving ourselves permission to explore and going, what do I need? What do I want? And that's how we move through burnout. So as my burnout eases, and I know it is because I can feel it already just by doing these very simple things, as my burnout eases, things in my business are going to look different. Things in my personal life are going to look different, because I am taking care of myself first. I'm recognizing my own needs. I'm recognizing my own wants and honoring them. And I really want to encourage you to honor yours as well. This is something that you deserve. You're inherently worthy of being taken care of. You are inherently worthy of caring for yourself. And if you are feeling burnt out, you deserve to take some time, in whatever way that looks like for you. Be aware. Go easy. Be kind. Find compassion through curiosity and questions. And remember that sometimes you need a little bit of time and space, and that's okay. This is your permission slip to take that. I hope that this episode has been helpful for you. I hope that me sharing my story with you has been helpful, healing in some way, help you to see. I hope that it has helped you to see that you are not alone in this at all, at all. So I will leave it there. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. So much love to you now and always. I'll see you next time.